Good morning, good morning, good morning, lovely people. And here we are at Unleash Community Drama. Unleash Community Drama. Okay, so guys, listen, this morning we do have our Zoom rehearsal for our new production, which is The Rich and the Pure. If you remember, guys, we are doing a feature film. Look, we're doing a feature film, The Rich and the Pure. So this morning we are rehearsing those scenes via Zoom. Now, the reason why I wanted to come online live is because I also promised that we would do some work on 10 tips for learning your lines. 10 tips for learning your lines. Now, this week, I don't know whether you know, is actually celebrating Live Theatre Week, because obviously a lot of our friends, a lot of the people who work professionally in the business, a lot of freelancers are really struggling. And so it was really just to highlight the wonderful work that live theatre brings to our society and how tough it is for people. So we just want to remember those people today. But obviously everybody in this Unleashed Community Drama, we are now we have our script finished, and I have to say that our script has been all okayed by the Heritage Lottery people who we are writing it for and who it's been commissioned for. And so it's all systems go to actually start filming next month, which is really exciting. So as you know, all of you have got a scene which you have got to learn lines. Now, guys, although we're actually going to be filming it, and we can do it over and over again, you know, till you get it right, we really want you to learn your lines. So I have put together 10 tips for learning lines, and Claudia, I know, bless her, she was asking specifically, you know, where are these 10 tips? Well, here they are. We are meeting at 9 o'clock this morning, so we are going to be we're going to be going through our lines. You're coming at 3 different times so we can go through all the different scenes. But I just wanted to talk to you about the real basics of learning lines. So the first thing is, when you get your script, the most important thing, number one, is you need to highlight all your words. So if you've got your words, you need to highlight them, okay? Now, I know I'm talking to some people, yeah, grandma to suck eggs and all the rest of it, but if you highlight them, okay, straight away the words jump out at you and you can see what you've got to learn. And it just gives you a really good visual indicator of everything that you've got to learn. Now, over the years, you know, I've had great pleasure of being in so many different productions where I've had to learn an awful lot of lines. You know, I've been doing this for literally years. And I've played a lot of parts where there's masses of lines to learn. I mean, just in recent years, Shadowlands, I mean, my goodness, there was so much to learn in Shadowlands. I mean, this is William Nicholson's play. And a bit like Tennessee Williams, William Nicholson, we talked about this when we were talking about monologues, is that he uses a lot of long monologues. If you look, that's the first opening page of Shadowlands. You know, sorry, can you see that? It's just, and there's loads like that. And so we're going to talk about how you learn long passages as well. Okay. The second thing is you need to know your scene. And what I mean by that, need to know your scene. What I mean by that is that you need to know who your character is, what the context is, what the backstory is, and you know, what is it your character brings to the scene. So you need to know that before you start learning your lines, so that when you're learning your lines, you are learning them in character. So, you know, if you have to put on a voice, you're learning it with that voice. You're trying to, if it's a particular type of character, you need to try and get into that character even when you're learning it. Now, the other thing I would suggest, which is a really good thing, and I put this as number 3, is chronologically. You need to learn it chronologically. Every single character in a play goes on an emotional journey. There's a beginning, you know, there's a middle, and there's an end. And invariably, your character will go on an emotional journey. And so therefore, it's really important to understand the character, that you learn your lines in the chronological order that they appear within the play. The second thing I would say is that when you are is learning the action with the lines. Now, this is a little bit controversial, because when you think of someone like our lovely Bevis, he pitches up to his first rehearsal with all his lines learned. I've always felt very much that actually you need to learn the action with the lines. So I start to familiarise myself with the lines, but I don't actually start to learn them until the scene is blocked. What do we mean by the word blocked? What that means is where you're going to stand, where you move, what you do, what action you do, where you move around the room, you know, when you pick up a drink, when you light a cigarette, whatever it is, whatever action you do, you need to try and learn the lines with the action, so that actually as you're learning the lines, the action is sinking in, you're visualizing it in your mind. And visualization is really, really important when learning lines. I'll come on to that in a second. So what I've put here is slug trail. You can actually draw a slug trail. When you're actually learning your actions, you could draw a little a plan of the set. And, you know, sofa here, your window here, entrance here, door here. And you can start, you know, and draw like a slug trail around the set and put the numbers and perhaps number those, you know, where you say particular speeches in your script so that you actually, you know exactly where you're moving. Now, how do we actually learn the lines? Right, now this is really basic. And I know for a lot of you, you've probably done this before, but it's repeat, cover, remember. So basically, if I'm learning some lines, okay, I would start at the top of the scene and basically I would get a piece of paper or, you know, something, and I would cover the lines up like this. Okay, cover the lines up. So here we are. Here's the first line in this one. How does Bill feel about you coming to live in England? This is from Shadowlands. How does Bill feel about you coming to live in England? Can you see that? So what I do is I'd sort of cover it up and then I'd cover it up. How does Bill feel about you coming to live in England? How does Bill feel about you coming to live in England? And then when I've repeated it several times and I can say it, then I move on to the next thing. And you've got to try and sort of learn what your cue is. Joy, I don't think he likes it. On the other hand, he can only afford to give me $60 a month. And England's cheaper. Well, how much is that? It doesn't sound enough. How much is that? It doesn't sound enough. How much is that? And then you go back to the beginning. How does it feel? How does Bill feel about you coming to live in England? So basically what you're doing is you are repeating, covering, remembering. And you gradually do that by going down the whole page. Repeating, okay, covering, remembering. Repeating, covering, remembering. So you're using and you're going down in the order of the page and you're learning the lines one by one. So you're repeating it, you're reciting it, covering it up, then looking at it. Okay, and then gradually as you go down the page, it gradually sinks in. So that's repeat, recover, remember. So, and then when you feel you've done that, the way in which you run the page is you say the line, you reveal the line, and you move on to the next line. You say the line, you reveal the line, and you move on to the next line. It's a really good way. And that, to be fair, is the best way of learning lines. There's no shortcuts. You've got to put the work in. Okay. Now, the next thing, which is really, really helpful, and I have found this over the years. I mean, I've played some massive parts. Thomas More in A Man for All Seasons, Nicholas Nickleby. We did the Devon Drama Federation tour back in the millennium. I've done lots of. Here we are. Let me show you. Let me just show you a few bits and pieces. Here we go. Oh my gosh, this is taking me back. Oh, here we are. So this is I played Biff, Death of a Salesman. Beth with the lovely David Gents. Here we go. Look, Death of a Salesman. Oh my gosh, great parts. Quite a few lines to learn. Wasn't the main part, but quite a few lines to learn. Nicholas Nickleby. Oh, here we are. I played the lead in Our Town. Now this is Darting to Play Goes. That's me in Darting to Play Goes, and it's a lovely play. Lovely play. We should do it one day. And that is a hilarious picture because that is me. And in the play, in Act 1, I play a 16-year-old. In the Act 2, I play a 26-year-old. And in Act 3, I play a 46-year-old. And at the time, I was 40 when I played this. It's me in shorts at Dartington playing a 16-year-old. Lovely play. Absolutely lovely play. Here we are. That's Our Town. Here we are, Nicholas Nickleby. Great play. Here we are. This was the David Edgar Royal Shakespeare Company version that we did. In fact, we did this for the millennium. This was here we are. Leon Winston directed it. Here we are. I played Nicholas, and weirdly, it's the only part I've played. Two parts I've played twice. Once was Nicholas Nickleby, and the other was here we are, Nicholas Nickleby. That's me with the lovely Joe Loosemore. And that's a hilarious scene because I remember when we did it in Totnes, Teignmouth, and Torquay. We did it in Torquay. My trousers split in the middle of a love scene with the lovely Joe Loosemore. So that was hilarious. Yeah. So Nicholas Nickleby, I played when I was 17, and then I played it. My goodness, when did I play it? I played it when I was 40. It was the millennium. Here we are, Little Shop of Horrors. This is me at the Northcott, Little Shop of Horrors. Playing Seymour. Feed me Seymour. Hilarious. That was top. That was Northcote Theatre Company's production of Little Shop of Horrors, which was fab. And then the only other thing I played twice was Crazy for You. Oh my gosh, Crazy for You, which I loved. I played it in about '96. Oh look, I found this the other day. Look at that, a publicity shot for Crazy for You. Look, there's hilarious with all those faces. Elaine Johnson. First time I played opposite Elaine Johnson. Oh my gosh, what a fantastic musical. I just love it so much. And second time I played opposite Tracy Loveridge. Lovely, lovely lady. Oh my gosh, such a fantastic show. My favourite show. But again, on the stage pretty much the whole time. Pretty much the whole time. So masses to learn. And obviously with musicals, you know, you're learning the singing, the dancing, and the acting. Lots of costume changes. So masses to learn. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Glass Menagerie. Now, Tennessee Williams. This is a lovely play. Glass Menagerie did this with Bijou. Masses to learn. Tennessee Williams. He just writes really long monologues. So masses of long speeches. Look, there's the lovely Joe Loosemore. Oh gosh. There's Susie Miles. That's me giving Susie Miles a bit of grief. And here we are. Oh, here we are. It's Stepping Out. This is hilarious. Again with Elaine Johnson. Bit of tap dancing. Chung, chung, chung. Bit of tap dancing. I played the only bloke in it. Really awkward character. It's a great play. Absolutely great play. Not a big part, but it was a lovely part. Really lovely ensemble part. So that's sort of in celebration of theatre. But the point I'm making is that, and this is the thing I was coming on to next, is the next thing that you need to do is put your words, or put your lines on, record them. What I tend to do is I record them. I put them onto either onto my phone, or I put them onto a dictaphone. And it's got to be something that you can have earphones on, because what I would say is that to have those, record them onto it so you can hear them over and over again is really important. And number 6 I put is subconscious learning. Is actually you put them on your headphones, okay, and have your lines going over while you're doing the ironing, while you're doing the washing, while you're doing, I don't know, while you're doing the washing up, you know, really mundane things. It's a proven fact that if you do 2 things at once like that, it will sink in. So you're not consciously thinking about your lines, but if you're doing other chores or you're doing something else that's a slight distraction, it gradually goes in. And this is the other thing that really does work. Is I don't know how you go to sleep, but when I'm doing a big part and when I'm learning a part, I tend to put them on before I go to sleep. So basically, I get into bed and I put my lines on and I let the lines just run over and over and over again. And I fall asleep. And as you fall asleep, subconsciously it does something to you, because your brain is like sort of wiping out all the rubbish from the day and resetting everything, isn't it? That's what your brain does when you sleep. And so if you've got your lines playing, subconsciously you can suddenly do it. Now, when I was a younger man, I mean, my gosh, I've been doing this for such a long time. I used to be able to learn lines like that. It's hilarious. When I was 17, I could look at you know, long piece, a page, and I could learn it, and I could learn it just like that. I'd know it. Now I'm 60. Yes, I'm 60. Now that I'm 60, I find it much harder to learn lines. And that's been a gradual thing as you get older. It's just a natural thing. It takes me longer to learn lines. The worst thing, oh my gosh, A Man for All Seasons. I have never had trouble learning my lines until it came to A Man for All Seasons. And the stupid thing was, and this is another tip, okay, is you need to give yourself time to learn the lines. People who know me, I have a very busy schedule. I pack life into my everyday. Get up in the morning, I just pack life into it. You know, that's what you got to do. You got to live life to the full. Yeah, this is what I do. Anyway, when I was doing A Man for All Seasons, I was at the same time directing a full-blown production of Alice in Wonderland, a school production that I'd written myself. So I was doing 2 productions absolutely simultaneously. Oh my goodness, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I must be mad, because I really found it hard to learn the lines. I mean, when it came to it, the week, I never had one single prompt, and you know, I didn't. I just could do the whole thing. But leading up to it, it took me ages to learn the lines. But you know, it's such a long piece. It's probably the biggest part I've ever done. It runs about 2.5 hours long, this play, and Thomas More is on it pretty much most of the time. Massive part. Great play we did at Buckfast Abbey for a week. Really fab. But the point I'm making is you need to give yourself time. You need to wipe out your calendar so that you can concentrate and give yourself proper time to learn the lines. Now, this next one, running the lines. Running the lines means actually perhaps meeting up with people who are in the same scene as you, okay, and just running the lines. So you sit in a cup of coffee and you just literally bum, 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 you run the lines with the actual actors who are in the scene with you. That's a really good way of learning the lines. So basically what you're doing, you're not acting it, you're not, walking around the set, you're actually literally just running the lines. Really does work, really, really good. And it's a good thing to do when you've just about got the lines under your belt. Now, this other one, bus stop visualization. What am I talking about here? Right, bus stop visualization. What this means is that if you've got a really big speech, or you've got a couple of speeches where there's like big lists of stuff, is what you need to do is you need to find a visual hook that you can hook onto a sentence, okay? And then for the next one, you find another visual hook that you hook onto that sentence, and then you find another visual hook. And it's like you then stand these visual hooks at a bus stop. Now, Claudia, you were asking me about this, and I'm just going to have a look and see if I can do this. I haven't prepared this, but I'm going to see whether I can do it, because Claudia, this is your scene. It's the bread riot that we've done. Okay. Right. So here we go. Let's have a look. The bread riot. Yeah. So this is you, Claudia. The bread riot. We were no fool. Right. Here we are. Here's one of your speeches. We were no fool. He were no fool. He was doing it for us. He was starving. Young as had naught to eat for 3 days. How's he supposed to live? Jane's little one died. How's that right? With so much wealth in the town up at the big fancy houses, and we living down here in George Street in squalor, it's wrong. That hungry child died because she had naught in her belly for 3 days. Okay, so what you're going to do, okay, you're going to put a visual hook to each of those sentences. So he were no fool, okay, he were no fool. I'd think of a jester. So we're going to put our jester at the front of the bus stop. He were doing it for us. He were doing it for us. Okay, so what's he doing? He's in prison. So then perhaps have a picture of your husband in prison. So he were no fool. He were doing it for us. We were starving. And then perhaps a picture of a really thin person starving with an empty bowl. So he were no fool. He were doing it for us. We were starving. So your visual picture would be, right, first of all, he were no fool. There's your jester. We were doing it for us. Guy behind bars. We were starving. Someone holding an empty bowl. Young'uns had naught to eat for 3 days. Then a big 3. How's we supposed to live? How's we supposed to live? So you've got to, live as in perhaps breathing. Live as in breathing, because the sentence is about living. So you've got a jester. You've got a guy in prison. You've got someone holding an empty bowl. You've got the number 3, and then you've got someone breathing. So basically you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images, and you just need to look at those images, and they will be visual hooks for you to remember the lines. Okay, so that's really important. So I tell you, bus stop visualization, really, really important. I found it over the years when you're learning really long speeches, a really good way. And you can also do it with the emotional journey of the scene, so that you can put the emotions as visualizations at that bus stop as well. Really, really handy for learning those lines. Now, the other thing, and let me show you, I've got some lovely pictures here, and I want to show you this because I know David Gent, bless him, is a lovely guy, and he's not been very well. But I've done so many plays with this lovely man, David Gent, over the years. Oh my goodness, I'm just trying to think. I was going through them the other night. Okay, High Society, oh my gosh, back in the day, played opposite Tracy Loveridge. It was the amateur premiere in Torbay. Dancing at Lunacer, directed by the lovely Joe McNulty. He played the mad vicar who'd come back from Africa, the missionary. I played the love interest who gets one of the Irish sisters pregnant. What else? Obviously, Crazy for You, in the very first production of Crazy for You back in '96, opposite Elaine Johnson. He played Zangler. Nicholas Nickleby, he was in Nicholas Nickleby with Dartmoor, with the Devon Drama Federation. Oh, here we are, the Agatha Christie. Did an Agatha Christie season one year with Bijou. The Unexpected Guest. Let's have a look here. I think I've got a picture of that. Our Town. That was Our Town with David Gent. Here we are. Here we are. Unexpected guest. So this was summer season. Oh my gosh. There's me, the lovely Julie Smith, and the lovely Dean Brayley. What happened to him? What a great guy. What a fantastic actor. I know he's a really successful businessman, man, but boy, don't we miss him. Okay, there's me. Here we are. And where's David Gent? Let me have a look here. Aha, here we are. I played a sort of horrid politician. And there's David Gent. I don't know. I can't remember what character he was. Lovely guy. Really lovely guy. So yeah. And the point I'm making is that something he does, which I've never done, but I think it does help, is he writes all his lines out. It's really interesting. He writes all his lines. Have you ever been in a play with David Gent? I've been in loads with him. He writes all his lines out on a scrappy piece of paper. It's hilarious. But my gosh, is he a good actor? And does he know his lines? So that might really help you as well, because I can understand how it does work. The more you write your lines out, it's going into your head. So just to recap, I'm going to stop in a minute because we've got our live Zoom rehearsals, which is going to be great. Okay. I'm just going to go through all of those pointers again. 10 tips for learning your lines. 1, highlight your lines. 2, know the scene. You've got to know the context. You've got to know your character. 3, learn them in order. 4, learn the action with the lines before it's blocked. 5, draw a slug trail of what you actually do in the scene. Here we are. Next one, repeat, cover, remember. You know, covering up your words, going over them, saying them, repeating them, covering them up, going over them, saying them, repeating. Record the lines onto a phone, onto a dictaphone. Okay. Have them playing while you're doing the ironing, while you're washing up, while you're doing your whatever, gardening, or running. That's a really good one. As you go to sleep, put your lines on while you're going to sleep. Run the lines with the other guys in the scene. This is so important. This is so important. Bus stop visualization. If you've got long scenes where you've got loads to remember, put them a little visual hook on them and have them all stood at that bus stop, and you just look at the bus stop. Oh, look, there's the jester. There's the guy in the prison. There's the hungry bowl. There's the number 3. See, look, Claudia, I've already learnt it for you. That's what you need to do. You need to learn your lines like that. And then the other one, dear old David Gent, write your lines down. So listen, guys, I hope that's been helpful. Really, really helpful. Now, listen, we are going to be doing our rehearsing. Now, next week, we will be talking about storyboarding. Okay, filming, which is what we're doing for this film. We are going to be talking about every single scene, how we direct it and how we visualize every single scene. And you just work it out. We are going to be doing loads of filming all over Torbay. Oh my goodness, we've got drones coming. We've got carriage and horses. We've got costumes from Toads. It's going to be so fantastic. It's going to be so exciting. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. I can't wait. The rich and the poor, the rich and the pure, our film. But guys, next week we are going to do storyboarding, okay? So I'm going to explain to you how you do that, and then we're all going to have our input, and you're going to be challenged. Your challenge is going to be to do a storyboard for your scene. So listen, guys, I hope this has been helpful. 10 tips for learning your lines. So I'm expecting you to all be word perfect when we get to the set and when you're going to be in your lovely costume and when we're going to start filming. So I shall see you in quarter of an hour when we do our live Zoom. But I hope it's been helpful. The reason why I wanted to do it on this was because it's really important, guys, that it's there that you can go back to and use as a resource. So I hope it's been helpful, and I will see you next week for our lockdown 2 workshops, practical workshops on how to do stuff to do with theatre. Okay, right, see you next time. Bye.